Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahusha, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahusha, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled Take the Jab or Lose Your Job, mysourceRT.com. And this article is entitled Take the Jab or Lose Your Job. Medical Journal calls for a mandatory COVID vaccine, says non-compliance should incur a penalty. This article was published on the 1st of October 2020. It states, with half the U.S. population reportedly unwilling to submit to an experimental COVID-19 shot, a new scientific paper has shed light on how state health authorities might enforce compliance with vaccine mandates. Published in the New England Journal of Medicine on Thursday, the paper outlines strategies for circumventing widespread fears over the safety of a rushed-to-market vaccine against the novel coronavirus, providing health authorities with a playbook for coercing a skittish populace. The writers acknowledge that voluntary measures should be tried first, rather than mandating the vaccine for everyone out of the gate. However, if the target population doesn't comply within a trial period, a mandate should be rolled out, and the penalties for refusing to submit should be harsh. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time. So what we are witnessing is the pending great wrath that the Edomites will exercise on the world, beginning with the nobility of Edom, beginning with the international bankers. They control this entire system. However, if the target population doesn't comply within a trial period, a mandate should be rolled out, and the penalties for refusing to submit should be harsh. And the nobility of Edom are becoming desperate, and therefore they're going to use harsh tactics to attain the new world order, because he know that he have but a short time. Given the cost of a failed voluntary scheme, the writers warn authorities should wait no more than a few weeks before rolling out a mandate if uptake falls short of expectations. The paper says 6 substantive criteria must be met before a COVID-19 vaccine is imposed by the state. A federal body, the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices, must greenlight administration to certain groups of the populace first, and only recommend groups should be considered for a vaccination mandate. High-risk groups should be given priority on that list. The elderly, health professionals working in high-risk situations or working with high-risk patients, persons with certain underlying medical conditions, and people living in high density settings such as prisons and dormitories, as well as active duty military service members, should be ordered to get the jab as soon as health officials are confident they have a sufficient supply to cover these groups, the paper suggests. Rather than attempting to pass laws requiring certain populations to get the vaccine, the paper recommends that noncompliance should incur a penalty and a relatively substantial one. The noncompliance should be threatened with employment suspension or stay-at-home orders, though fines or criminal charges are discouraged because they disadvantage the poor and risk getting the mandate itself challenged in court. Worse, they may stoke distrust without improving uptake, it adds. I'll keep going. Whatever they do, authorities should avoid flaunting their relationship with vaccine manufacturers, the paper recommends. A tall order given that President Donald Trump Operation Warp Speed vaccine development initiative is helmed by Moncef Slaoui, the former head of pharma giant Glaxo Smith Kline's vaccine division, who had to quit the board of directors of Moderna, a front runner in the vaccine race. To take the job, Slaoui notoriously was forced to offload over $10 million in Moderna stock after its value briefly skyrocketed following the announcement of promising early trial results. For the non-high-risk groups, the writers suggest authorities encourage voluntary uptake using means such as public education campaigns and free vaccination. Health officials have been hard at work conducting focus groups on which variety of influencers might best convince the American people to embrace what would be the quickest vaccine rollout in history. The standard timetable for vaccine development and approval, complete with post-shot monitoring for side effects, is 10 years or more. And what kind of emotional tone the message should take. A Yale University study conducted in July evaluated messaging strategies including guilt, economic benefit, trust in science, embarrassment, and community benefit to measure the effects on not only confidence in the vaccine itself, but how willing the participants were to persuade others to take the shot, and how much they feared or looked down on those who had not received it. The results of that study have not been published. I'm going to jump down. Fears about the rushed rollout of the vaccine, coupled with both Republicans and Democrats' determination to turn the jab into a political football, have convinced a majority of Americans that they don't want to be among the first to get vaccinated. A poll conducted earlier this month suggested less than half the country would take the shot, even if they were paid $100. And polling shows the portion of Americans willing to take it has declined steadily since May. Now, this goes to show you that these so-called Americans don't trust the government. And this is based on the internet, which is part of the council of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now it states, Rather than attempting to pass laws requiring certain populations to get the vaccine, the paper recommends the noncompliance should incur a penalty and a relatively substantial one. The noncompliance should be threatened with employment suspension or stay-at-home orders. Woe to them that devise iniquity, referring to the nobility of Edom, devise iniquity, such as what? Forcing the population to receive COVID-19 vaccinations, something they created anyway, beginning with the Israelites, okay, so-called minorities. Woe to them that devise iniquity. Yes, iniquity means what? Wickedness, and work evil upon their beds. All they do is meditate on a wicked game plan to destroy the nation of Israel. Why? Because they want that birthright. When the morning is light, they practice it, and that's literal, because it is in the power of their hand. And how did they receive this power? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the wicked receive this power from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. Take the job, Slakia, take the jab or lose your job. This is considered as an unrighteous decree. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, destruction to the Edomites, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And according to the Hebrew, grievousness is Strong's H 5999, pronounced as Imal, which means what? Trouble, sorrow, misery, painful, pain, wearisome. People are afraid to take this vaccination. Why? Because they know the government is out to destroy them. And the reason why people have this perception is because of the prophets and whistleblowers. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right. This prescription, such as take the jab or lose your job, this promotes sorrow, pain in your mind. Why? Because you know that the government is out to get you, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. The widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And that's literal. Okay? Second Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And the reason why we are not ignorant to Satan's device, such as COVID-19 and COVID-19's vaccination is because we have the Holy Spirit. We understand that this pandemic is a plandemic. Daniel 7:25, and he in the form of America shall speak great words against the Most High, and that's literal, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Wear out in the Hebrew goes into harass constantly and think to change times and laws. Now, according to our law, we do not supposed to pierce our flesh. When a needle is penetrated in your skin, your flesh has been penetrated, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time, which is a grand total of 350 years. At the end of the day, you do not take that vaccine. And this is to you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners who are your father's lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do not take this vaccine. Lord, will you edify? Shalom.